Welcome to the Naked Peaches. I'm Anna.
I'm Taylor.
And we have a special guest today, Lauren.
Hello.
Hello. Lauren is our lovely client who we had in the studio recently for a boudoir session, which we definitely want to go into in a little bit. And during Glam, we started having really interesting conversations that I was fascinated by and immediately started texting Taylor and Sierra about because I was like, we need her on the pod.
Also, we were like, immediately yes.
Immediately yes, yeah. Also, side note, Sierra isn't here today because she is still very unwell.
Yeah.
Her and her whole family.
Her.
So yeah, we're sending...
I know, I'm sad I didn't get to meet her.
I know. Well, maybe we'll have you on again
with
Sierra.
Yeah, I totally would come again. I love you guys already.
Aww.
I had the best experience.
Yay. Okay, so today we are going to talk all things relationships, open marriages, like fetishes a little bit. We're just really like deep diving into everything today. So I'm really excited.
I'm so excited. Us vanilla girls have so much to learn from you.
Well, I mean, I was vanilla for a really long time too. So
yeah, that's part of what's so interesting about your story, I feel like.
Yeah, and the fact that you've been in a relationship for so long, because I mean, I guess we all kind of have, like, based on our age range, I feel like we've been in like more long-term relationships, but not, obviously not as long as yours. Like Sierra's the longest with like what? 10?
I think they're around 10
years, yeah. So you have us all beat. How long have you been with your husband again?
It's almost 25. We've been together over 27.
Wow.
So together longer than apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
we got together in early 20s, barely able to drink. So it was a long time ago.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about how you guys met.
Well, we met at a gym.
Love.
We were both really active and loved working out, and I was actually dating his best friend at the time.
Drama.
I know. But I mean, that was like just really casual. It wasn't like a big deal, but I mean, it was to my husband because he said, if he doesn't say it's okay that we date, then I can't date you. And I was like, oh, what? But anyway, so obviously he said it was okay.
So how long were you together before you got married?
About 1.5 years.
Okay. And was your guys' like, I mean, you were young, so like your sex life was probably like pretty vanilla, like, you just don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah, you don't really. I mean, I felt like it was a more, I'd been with more people than my husband had. Mm-hmm. He hadn't been with very many people, which is, leads us into why we ended up doing what we're doing. But I think that it was just that I think we really cared about each other so much. Mm-hmm. It was just, I knew right away that he was my person.
Aww, that's really sweet.
So, said the L word after like 6 weeks, I think it was.
I love that.
So it wasn't like, super fast, but I knew right away. I had dreams about having his kids, a boy and a girl, before we ever dated.
And did you guys end up having a boy?
We ended up a boy and a girl, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I told one of our other best friends, I had mentioned it to him, and the big mouth went and told him, and my husband was like, oh, that's really cool. And I was like, shoot, if a 21-year-old says that's cool, I gotta snatch this one.
Yeah.
I didn't scare him off by saying this story. What? Yeah, so
that's a green flag.
Yes.
Absolutely a green flag. Yes.
Okay, so your kiddos are like older now. You guys have teenagers.
Older than that even.
Older than teenagers?
How old are your kids?
Yeah, how old are they?
24 and almost 18.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So borderline teenager, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you've been married for a really long time now.
Mm-hmm.
And so tell us about just like the progression, I guess, of your relationship. Because this is kind of how we started the conversation when you were in the studio during your boudoir session.
Yeah.
We were talking about this and you were saying how like I think what I asked you was like, oh, like what's your marriage advice? Because you had been together for so long. And you started talking about like how relationship changes over time and like the things you do to keep them like fresh, basically.
I would say like for more than probably even 20 plus years of the marriage, it was always really good. We've always had a really great sex life. We've always communicated really well. It was very vanilla. I mean, there wasn't any like crazy stuff that we did, no crazy positions, no, outdoor sex, no sex in public, nothing like that, you know? But I mean, I had no complaints, right? Even after like kids, because sometimes kids can slow things down. I mean, you have to kind of keep things sparked up, but we always went on date nights. We always made it a priority.
Did you even make it a priority like right after the kids are born? Just because I mean, I'm like, 8 months postpartum right now, and I we probably should be having more sex than we're having right now. Just with like my hormones are like not what they used to be at the moment.
I think that, I mean, I've always had a high sex drive.
Okay.
More than him.
Okay.
So, which is, unique, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think most guys are like that. I mean, I've been with a ton of guys, but I feel like, most guys are not that way. It's like guys tend to have more of the drive than women.
My husband has more drive. Does yours?
Yeah, he definitely does.
Yeah.
But I have a couple friends where it's like the reverse. So I feel like I know people who experience it.
Right.
But I definitely feel like I hear more often that men have the higher drive in the relationship.
Yeah. I would say that like I felt like we should have sex right away. Like I almost got like a little bit anxious about it because I know my husband really struggled with me having a baby. Like now I was a mom and like he didn't see me as like a sexual being anymore. It was like I was a mom and I was nursing and I was taking care of baby. And, so, I mean, I like kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it.
That's so sad for you.
I know, yeah.
It was a struggle. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. But I mean, obviously it's, the second time around it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh, no, I got over that,
Okay, so it was just an adjustment.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, we were still young, we weren't, if you do the math, like it was pretty quick after when we got married that we had a kid. So, I think that after about, 20 or so years, we had a sort of a shift in our life. His job had transferred him, and I didn't want to go where we went. And so that was a struggle for me. And I think it kind of made me a little depressed, and so then I wasn't like, I don't know, kind of like just this whole shift of our relationship really sort of slowed, I guess. It wasn't as, we didn't take the time to like go out on dates anymore. We sort of stopped investing in the time. You can't ever stop investing time. You have to do it all the time. Otherwise it will fizzle out. And so I think once we moved back here, it was, I don't know, we'd become different people. Like I was kind of doing my own thing. He was kind of doing his own thing, and we never fight. We never have like we never like talk bad about each other or berate each other or argue, like I guess the same as fighting, but so I mean our relationship was still like not unhealthy, but we just kind of like, I don't know, we were just sort of like two ships sort of floating down the river together and not really, committing to each other again.
Like more like roommates almost.
Yeah. And I know.
How old were your kids at this point?
Like middle school and just got out of high school.
Okay. And how long had you guys been together?
About 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So around the 20-year mark is when it started happening.
Yeah, when all this stuff started happening. Maybe 18, 19 years even. Somewhere like around 20 I think would be easier to round it there. But so we had at the 10-year mark, I remember him asking me, and that was when I was like in the best shape of my life and like was not insecure in any way at all. You know what I mean? And I was like running and he had asked me if I would be interested in having sex in front of him with another man. And I was like, hell no. Why would we do that? I don't want to do that. And I totally shut it down.
Yeah.
And he would kind of make hints or like make little jokes, but I never really thought he was serious.
Yeah. And it wasn't a threesome he was wanting. It was just to watch you with
just
another
to watch.
person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Just to watch. I think that was just his most curious thing.
Yeah.
I mean, once you start doing that, like it expands into other things. I mean, I should say that's what happened with us, but maybe that doesn't happen with everyone.
I feel like I've heard that a lot though. It's like when you like open the door to like trying new things, you end up trying more than just like one thing.
Yeah, because once you're willing to do something that's like so outside of the box of like what's considered normal, it's like then
like,
why don't we try other things too?
Why not? But I was really I felt like, I don't know if it was just because like, you don't do that when you're married. And I know that a lot of people still feel that way. You don't step outside the marriage. You don't do these things. I never thought that like anything would come of that, right? Mm-hmm. And I think like he started bringing it up more around that time when we were going through a little bit of a lull, right?
Yeah.
And at that point, I was just like, no way, absolutely not. I was like so against it. So he actually, I mean, I guess you guys would consider it cheating, but he actually went and was like going to places to watch people do that without my knowledge.
Okay.
Okay. How'd you find out?
How did I find out?
Like, is this like a sex club kind of thing?
Like, I don't know.
Like
We've never really gone.
modeling, right? That's what those places are. Are they?
I don't know. Honest, to be 100% honest, I don't really care. Like, I've never really gotten into it. We still haven't really talked about it. I just
just don't
like,
care. Would you consider that cheating?
I would. Yeah. I mean, just I would have a problem with not it being a secret and not knowing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that was my issue too, but my issue was more further in the year, you know, I feel like this year it really started to get rocky. He was kind of just like, I can't really describe like how he was, but he was different, really distant, just really standoffish.
Yeah.
And you know, like we'd stopped having sex, and that was weird for me. I'm like, what is going on? What is going on?
How long had it been?
We'd go like a month or more without having sex, which is like, you know, forever for me. I'm like, you know, I mean, I'm like 3-4 times a week kind of girl. Like that's what I would prefer.
Okay.
But anyways, so I don't even really, I don't know.
So he didn't come to you and say like, hey, I've been going to these places. You like discovered it somehow.
No, I know that we had a conversation in July. And I was like, or maybe June. It was in the summertime, this last summer. Yeah. Maybe May, sometime in the warmer time. There was no rain. And I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, something is going on. I know something's wrong. Like, you know, and he's just like, something has to change. If something doesn't change, we aren't going to make it. And I'm like, what? Like, I was really surprised by that. I didn't realize it had gotten that bad.
Yeah.
Because he's very quiet and doesn't say anything, right?
So it seems like he's just kind of fine all the time.
Yeah, he just seems like he's fine all the time. But he just seemed really more angry, and I wasn't really sure why. But that, you know, is neither here nor there. That wasn't even what he was angry about. I think, you know, he's got other stuff he's, you know, trying to work through. But we had this discussion, and I was like, you know, look, you know that I would do anything to save this relationship. I mean, I feel like we have a great relationship. Yeah, we have a bumpy point, but I'm not a type of person that will just give up. Both of our parents have divorced. And, you know, I was like, to me, I feel like we had too many years that were really, really good.
Yeah.
You know, laughing together and just, I mean, it was a really good relationship. And it's a good relationship now. I think we're just still kind of relearning though. But he said, well, you know that I told you years ago that I wanted you to have sex with other men. And I was like,
You're like, when you said something has to change, I didn't think this was going to be it.
I was like, what? And he's like, you know, I just think that, you know, we should open that up. And I was like, well, does that mean you need to have sex with other people? And he's like, no, I don't need to have sex with other people. You know, I just want to watch you. And I was like, all right. So I'm like, fine, okay, I'll do it. He doesn't believe me. Yeah. But like, I'm the type of person that when I make up my mind, like that's it. I make up my mind and there's no changing it. I mean, I'm in, right? Yeah. So let's do this. Because I'm thinking, how bad can it be? I want to have sex. Why not? Right? I'm like, do I get to choose that? Yeah. I'm like starting to go through this whole thing. And he's like,
so how do you go about finding another partner?
That was the tricky part. Like we've really gone through, I feel like we did it backwards. If anyone else is thinking of opening their marriage, they should have like a contract drawn up or some sort of, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it. And you have to evolve. Sure, things aren't going to work and some things will work really well and you stick to that path, but we didn't know what the hell we were doing. Mm-hmm. So we just kind of like, swing it. So he's like, well, I think you go on Reddit, or I've heard about,
Craigslist.
Oh my God. There's a lot of stuff on Reddit, let me tell you. But you have to get like verified or something. I don't know. I could never really get past a certain point. Like I wanted to comment, you know, like to try and find things like, hey, what about this? You know, I couldn't find anything. But I went on FetLife.
Okay.
Yes, I've heard of that. And it seems like that's a pretty commonly used like app for like all things.
I don't personally, for me, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm like a freak. Like I think I'm pretty open to most things, but there's some pretty freaky shit on there. I mean, the acronyms alone, I cannot.
Oh my God, give us an example.
Yeah, tell us.
Okay, wait. ANR.
ANR. Anal?
Nope.
No. Okay.
You'll never get it. Adult nursing relationship. Grown ass men want to have a woman hold them and nurse.
No.
I'm not, honestly, I'm
They will
not
pay-
surprised.
Yeah,
They want to breastfeed. Like,
yes, they want to breastfeed.
Stop.
Yeah,
How
and
much?
they wanna-
How much should
How
I
much
do
can
this?
Anna make
Yeah.
off
How
of
much can
this?
I make?
You could sell your breast milk, girl, and make money. I'm not kidding you. You'd never have to have contact with them, and you would sell your breast milk. You'd make all kinds of money. It's crazy.
I'm gonna
It is
Side
a
hustle
profile.
opportunity.
You should. I'm totally like, well, there's actually a site for that.
Really?
Yeah, guys that are like really into boobs, period, will go on there just to like see these large engorged breasts.
It's like milkmommies.com.
Something like that. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my
yeah,
God,
it
okay.
was FetLife was like, so I make this profile and I put some like pictures on, and I mean it is like some trolls. So
Wait, I have a question. Did you put your like face on it?
I did.
You did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. Which, I mean, seems silly that I put my face on there and not here, but
It's fine.
But the
You're also like in a community there where
of
everybody's
other,
kind of
Yeah.
on the
yeah,
same page.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen someone you know on FetLife?
No, thank God.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
That's actually, I feel like Portland is so small. That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, I know. I've always been kind of worried about it. But I mean, I'm not currently on FetLife. It just got a little bit too weird for me. It got really exhausting because I knew that I was not going to be able to just have sex with some random stranger. I just
Yeah.
wasn't. Like, I'm too afraid of STDs. I'm too afraid of, well, pretty much anything. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't, right? So I'm like, I need to get to know these people. And I would flat out say that. I'd be like, my husband is going to always be with me. He likes to watch. If you're cool with that, great. I don't want a relationship. This is just, friends with benefits kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I did want to get to know these people. I wanted to like care about what they were doing in their life so that you have some kind of connection.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people that don't need that. I mean, they'll like the women that my husband would watch. They're a part of some group. Don't ask me the name because I don't even know. But like, every month, and they travel all over the United States.
Wow.
Yeah. Make great money.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Wow.
And just go and watch, and you can participate if you want, and
I didn't even know this was a thing. This is how vanilla I am.
Yeah,
I'm like, what is
same.
this?
I didn't know either. Like I literally would be like looking at other stuff, just going, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, like what is this? Like I felt like dirty even looking at the videos.
Anna and I are like gonna make FetLife profiles after this.
We
just to
are.
see
Oh my
what's out there.
You should just totally make like a troll thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and what's funny is like you get people that won't show any picture, and you'll see that they don't have like a lot of friends, and like there's this whole thing where you like, what I discovered anyways is there's a lot of fake profiles out there. There really are.
Yeah.
And so asking people questions, like trying to get to know people, and I would like reach out to people, but most of the time it was just my inbox was just jammed packed because my profile photo was just my boobs. So of course. They are nice boobs,
They are nice boobs. Yes, we just did the image reveal. They're stunning boobs.
Yeah. I've always had good boobs, so that's good. And so I mean, it just was. And you join like groups, like I can't remember. It's Bob is the acronym, but it was like Oregon breasts, something like beautiful Oregon breasts or something
I
like
love
that.
this.
Yeah,
I love this.
So like I would join these different groups just to like see what was out there. And long story short, because obviously we are short on time, but I mean I met a lot of really cool people, a lot of people that are like still that I'm still friends with, that I still talk to, have
Like
nothing.
normal people.
Yeah, that I have nothing. Well, maybe not totally normal. I mean, I think you have to have a little bit of, craziness, kink in you to be on FetLife.
Yeah.
I didn't meet hardly anyone that was, I mean, I did meet a couple. I mean, one guy that I still talk to that I'm friends with, I don't do anything with him. There's still a lot of people that I became friends with. It's really weird. Most of them are men that are in relationships that I made sure for me, I'm like, I need to know that like your wife is cool with this or girlfriend. Like there's no like I'm not interested in doing like this infidelity thing.
Yeah.
I mean I can't really say how I like figured that out, but I mean usually it was on their profile people are pretty upfront. I need to be discreet. I don't want my wife to know. That kind of things. I stay away from that. Like the other ones would be like, oh my wife is fine with it. She, just had a baby and isn't interested in having sex right now and doesn't want to, lose the relationship. And they're all very committed to their wives. Like they are, I'm not going anywhere. My wife is really precious to me. Like she's my priority. You know, you're just going to be the side piece kind of thing when I, you know, so that would be the only type of people that I ended up staying friends with. I mean, a couple single guys too. My friends with benefit is a single guy, totally single.
Would you say it seemed like that it was mostly people in relationships or people who were single?
I feel like it's pretty decent on both from what I came across. I mean,
Okay.
there were a lot of single guys. I personally preferred talking to or meeting up with people that were, you know, totally not interested in any kind of relationship at all. One person that I had talked to, I mean, I had to like put a shutdown on that one because I felt like he was getting too like wanting to be boyfriendy, you know, like, oh, you know, and because if anybody says anything negative towards my husband, I'm just like, no, this isn't, we're not gonna, you know, I mean, whatever, we're both still learning as we go, but, anyways, I have met guys that were like super vanilla and like, you know, not really sure like what they were doing. And, you know, I mean, me, of course, I'm just like, oh, you know, you're like a little prey, you know, my little person I'm going to chase. Anyways.
I love that.
Yeah. But I like on my profile, I mean, I shut it down. Otherwise I'd read it to you because it was fairly comical, but I'm just like, anyone under the age of 30 need not apply. Because they're just completely selfish, and at least the single men anyways, I mean, most of them weren't married that would contact me, but I just was like, ugh. So I had to keep updating my profile to like be like, okay, I don't want this, and I don't want that, and don't start your, you know, hey, sexy, you have nice tits. I'm like, come on. You know, I'm like, I'm educated, I'm intelligent, I'm looking for educated and intelligent that also happens to, you know, be really fun in bed. Like I'm not interested in, you know. And so it got mentally exhausting. I feel like that was the hardest part, trying to be on there, and it's just so freaking exhausting. I would say if somebody wants to go out, you know, have like an open relationship, they need to do Field. FEELD. Field is a lot more like the photographs are better. They don't allow any nude photos. I mean, not that I'm opposed to nude photos, but like that's all FetLife is just you're pretty much just putting your body out there for everybody to see. And you have to do a little bit more work on Field. Like they have these things called pings, and you have to ping them, and they have to ping you back.
It sounds like more of like a dating app almost.
It is more like a dating app for people that are in open relationships. Or, you know, maybe even not even open relationships. You can be single and be on there. But it kind of does the whole like algorithm thing where your tags get connected together.
Okay, so it's kind of it's serving you up people who they think you'll match with.
Yeah, if I say I want a straight man, it'll connect me with straight men. If it's like, if I say that like I'm bi-curious, it would connect me with people that are bi-curious. If you're looking for couples, you put in the word couples, and it sends you those links. And if you get something sent to you as a suggestion, rather than swiping, you're hitting the minus button like you don't like it.
Got it.
So, I mean, I feel like that's a little bit of a better setup, and you can pay for it to get even more of a boost and see, because people like you. I mean, I stopped looking at like the likes because you just, I mean, that sounds really braggy. I don't want to sound braggy, but you know, it's like 900 and something likes. I don't know.
Okay, queen.
I know. I'm like, oh my god. Anyways, so you can like people. And if they see that you've liked them, then they can ping you. Like, you don't always see all the people that are out there. I mean, there's like people all over the place. If someone comes into the area, even like I started talking to somebody from Salt Lake, just randomly chit-chatting, and I've never even met them. Him and his wife live in Utah, but they happen to be in Oregon, and it said, oh, they're only a mile away. And
interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, I got pinged, and obviously I didn't meet up with him, but I'm trying to stick to just one person right now.
Wait. So I want to go back. So your husband brings this up to you, and you're like, okay, like let's find a third or a partner for you.
Right.
So you got on FetLife.
I don't even know if it was just a partner, honestly.
Or
like,
just someone.
He wanted, what he first wanted us to do, and I mean, I don't even like to even say that I did this because I'm just like, what was I thinking? Ugh, whatever. This is one of those things where it's like, I'm like, okay, I'll see what it's like, right? And then I'm like, oh, I don't like this. I'm not down with this. We went to the arcades or the little sex rooms, like in the sex shops, they have those rooms. I mean, I don't even know what the hell they're called now.
I don't either. I don't.
Cinema? No, not the cinema.
I just call them Jack Jacks.
No, peepholes, like a peephole, like a blowhole, glory hole. That's what it is. See, I can't even get it right. I am so lame. I can't even get that right.
I didn't know these things were a thing. So this is how lame
I didn't
Glory
either.
hole is where it's like a room and someone can put their dick in it, and then
Yes.
you can be on the other side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so that was our first experience, right?
Okay.
So we go to this glory hole, and I'm like, I'm not putting that thing in my mouth.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know where that's been.
I don't know where that's been. And basically, you walk in, and as a woman, if you walk into this area where these arcades are,
Yeah.
oh my God, ladies, it is like so scary. Like they're just like all of a sudden they start to almost swarm at you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like I'm walking around.
But
and
you're
I'm
with
looking.
your husband, right?
I'm with my husband.
Yeah.
They do not care. That comes in all the time. You see that a lot of because they're there to kind of like. I mean, you can lock the door, but still, I think they're there as like as a protection, or maybe they're like my husband and they like to watch or whatever. I don't know, but so I go in there and like there's just these people that I'm just like, ooh, I'm not, nope, I'm not doing that. And I'm like looking in the rooms because I'm super curious.
Yeah.
They've got ones where it's like a voyeur room where a couple can be having sex in one room and there's someone on the other side that's watching. You have to pay. It's like $5 for 5 minutes or something crazy for this porn. You pay for the porn, because that's how they make their money, right? And so, anyways, I told my husband, I go, I'll take that guy. My husband goes, come on, guy. So the guy goes in the room. I know, right? It's like I mean, I was like totally all lady balls going here, thinking I'm like so brave, right? So the guy comes in and like. Can't get hard. And I'm like, okay, does this happen all the time? Like, and of course, like I have like lube and I'm like rubbing the hell out of that thing, trying to get it to get hard.
Yeah.
And like, he's like, oh, you're really good at this. Are you a massage therapist? I go, I'm obviously not that good because it is not getting harder. What is the problem, right?
Did you ask him like what? Like
No. I didn't say anything like that. And he's just like, oh, can I have sex with you? I'm like, how are you gonna have sex with me with that thing? Like, you can't have sex with me with that. It's not gonna work. And then it was like in the middle of summer, and there's no air conditioning. So imagine it when it's in the hundreds. And I finally was like,
you're
dude,
just like jerking this thing. Like
I'm like, dude, 20 minutes went by. Like,
wait, do you wear clothes when you walk into these things, or are you naked the whole time?
No, I'm naked. I'm not. I was about to say I'm naked. No, I'm not naked.
Okay.
I have clothes on.
Okay.
Yeah, I had clothes on.
Okay.
My husband's like, take off your clothes. I'm like, no, I'm not taking off my clothes. Well, I'm not setting him down anywhere. Are you crazy? No way. Like, this place is disgusting.
That sounds like something I'd say. Like, there's too many germs in here for me. Like,
So, anyways, yeah, it gets worse though.
Okay, let's keep going, please.
Anyway, so that was like the first experience, but I finally told the guy, I'm like, dude, I gotta get out of here. I am so hot. Like, I'm sweating so bad. I'm like, this is not sexy. And you go out of there, and then like these guys like come up to you like, oh, I'm like, nope, I'm done. It's too hot in here. I can't. And I mean,
how is there no AC in this thing? Like,
I have no idea.
yeah, that is not sexy.
No, it is not sexy at all. So anyways, that was like my first bad experience. Well, then I decided, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, because my husband's like, oh, we need to do that again. You should try going in the cinema. And I'm like, we went in the cinema to look, and like that's where there's you, as a couple, you get in for free.
okay.
And then men that go in there, I think they spend like $10. And they're basically watching porn, and there's like separate little divider areas.
But like porn or real people?
No, it's porn. But there's also real people too. It depends on when you go. Like there's on FetLife, there's people that say, hey, well, I probably won't say anybody without their permission, but there's people on there that go all the time.
Okay.
And there's followers of those people, and they're like, oh, bareback only. And these women will go in there and just have sex with as many people as they feel like, right?
Okay.
And, so my husband has watched that as well.
Yeah.
I go in there and just like, these guys walk up to me and start like stroking themselves right in front of me, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is really uncomfortable. Like, I'm still vanilla at this point. I'm like, I can't just ease into this, fellas. Like,
do you ever like laugh? Because I feel like I'd laugh and then I'd ruin it. Like,
I think I think I was just more scared. Like, I'm
Yeah.
really just in shock. Like, I can't look. Don't look. I'm not going to look. I'm not going to look. I can't make eye contact. If I make eye contact with him, it's going to be all done.
I can barely make eye contact during sex with my husband, let alone.
You got to get over that.
I know. It's like eye contact is so intimidating to me.
Well, and you've also, at this point, you've been in a closed marriage for 20 years.
Yeah.
So you're used to being like,
Yeah.
okay, strange man, stay away.
Right. Well, and I mean, I would say that, like, my husband and I probably only had, like, our 3 go-to positions. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't even, like, have lots of positions. So, I mean, for me to, like, have all these men, like, doing it, I was just like, whoa. So then I decided I'm going to basically, like, start interviewing these guys, right? Get to know these people, and then set up a play date, right? at the glory hole. Yeah. I mean, I suppose that worked out better, but there was a few guys that I got to know, and I still randomly talk to them. Like, you know, they're always like, hey, you want to go to the glory hole? And I'm like, I'm not feeling it, thanks. You know, no, I think I'm better than that. I'm just like, not that there's anything wrong with that for people that want to go. I mean, I'm too old to be like on my knees on a tile floor in a room, like, because they have bigger rooms where you bring a person
I'm too
into
old
the
to be
room.
on my knees on a tile floor.
I'm also imagining that the room smells really bad.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't smell
Really?
like anything. Mm-mm.
Oh.
No, I've never had it smell like anything.
That's
Wow.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a noisy-
Maybe I've just been lucky of not gone in there
Yeah.
after, you know, something nasty happened. But, because I'm always like, I have this bag, I call it my slut bag. I bring this bag in, and they have hooks in the bigger room, so that's pretty sweet. So you put the hooks on there. I hang it up so nothing is on the ground, or I make my husband hold stuff for me because I'm like, you know, you gotta, if you want to watch this shit, you gotta hold my stuff. So,
Yeah.
So
I love this.
Yeah, and so I like have a towel on the floor. I have a towel across like the little couch thing. Like I am like, you know,
This is very sanitary.
Yeah.
I'm very into this.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to be as sanitary as possible. Well, then I kind of was like, I feel like I'm too good for this, babe. Can we like go to the sex clubs? Like, well, then, you know, a couple of the sex clubs, again, I probably won't say the ones that I don't want to go to. They weren't my thing.
Okay.
They weren't his thing either. But we both like Pravada. Pravada is like super clean.
Okay.
I've
And
heard that that's like the nice one.
oh yeah, and I feel like there's a range of ages as well. You know, like there's probably like people your guys' age, you know, even to like 60 in there. You have to dress nice. You know, it costs a lot more money to get in there. But I mean, all of the clubs I feel like are pretty good with like changing the sheets and, you know, providing condoms and providing lube and, you know, just like other fun things you can do. You bring your own ropes and you can tie each other up and,
Oh, that's
you
fun.
know, yeah. So they have areas where there's like the voyeur stuff that goes on, like the gangbang stuff that goes on. And I was just like, oh my God, this is like really kind of cool. I mean, to me, watching people have sex, I didn't know that I would think that was cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is actually kind of cool. Like, oh,
And
what,
you can-
what
you
are they
can-
doing over there? I've never done that. You know, I mean,
And
it
you
was,
can go watch without participating. You can just like go watch people.
oh yeah. Oh, most of the people were. What was weird is like if you think of like if you're in a busy room, like if you're at a conference or something, there's all that white noise of people talking.
Yeah.
That's how it's like. And then you see all these people having sex and you have all this white noise. And I remember like trying to block out what people were doing and just like listening to the white noise.
Yeah.
And people are just having normal conversations.
It's like
just,
talking about the weather.
yeah, like sitting there just talking about whatever while people are, you know, sitting there having sex in front of
Yeah.
them.
Wow.
I mean, I'm all thinking that people are going to be like, oh yeah, that's really hot. Like thinking it's like the cinema. Oh no,
Yeah.
it's nothing like
Yeah.
that. You cannot approach anyone
Okay.
at any of these clubs. You have to be invited. If you aren't invited and you approach, they'll kick your ass out. Like there is security everywhere. I mean, it is.
That
it's
seems much more comfortable.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's actually really nice. There's like just these bar areas where people are just sitting and talking, and there's
Yeah.
no nakedness. You know, there's like a dance floor that plays really good music. There's no nakedness down there.
Wait, so the people that are having sex are those like people that are getting paid to do that, or are they're just people that
No,
are showing
just
up being like,
people
I want
that
to
are
have
showing
sex
up.
on this?
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And what I noticed is that people were kind of coming in couple groups, like groups
Okay.
of couples. I mean, I know my husband and I are like trying to find a normal couple
Okay.
we've decided that's our next step, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm struggling to find normal people. Recently, I just saw a guy that I thought looked like my ex-husband, and I was like, I can't. Because I was briefly married prior to my husband. My high school sweetheart, just a couple years.
Oh, okay.
That was, you know, it's a dumb decision.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, but That's another podcast story.
Different episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, wait.
Where
I
else
have
are
a
we?
whole list of questions
Yeah.
that I was thinking of. Okay. What I am curious about is like jealousy, because I know a lot of people talk about like, oh, like I could never open up the relationship because like I'd be too jealous or they'd be too jealous or like, and I know you guys had kind of talked about this, but like, do you feel like this is something you could have done, year 5 of your relationship?
Not in year 5.
Yeah.
No, because I mean, I still had young kids, or a kid, and then was pregnant with the other one almost shortly thereafter, probably pregnant with the other one. So I just feel like when you have little bitty kids like that, I don't feel like I feel like I was too much in the mom mode.
Yeah.
Not that like insecurity probably played a part. I'm not sure. I can't really remember, but that was like I've slept since then. But I just think that like a mom doesn't do that, which I don't think that's true now. I mean, obviously I'm still a mom.
Yeah.
But I just think that I just had a different mindset.
It would have been hard for you to feel like it was okay for you to do that.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is very like societal. It's like society
It
tells
is.
you like, oh, you're a mom, you have to be like in this bucket. You know?
Like
well, even
wholesome.
marriage,
Even
like if you
marriage,
think about marriage, like, I mean, if you've got this idea that like you shouldn't ever cheat and you shouldn't be with anyone else and that you should only love one person. And I mean, I'm not in love with anybody else, but I've really met some great people that, I've connected with. Just, I care about them as a person. And I've always said men and women can't be friends. There's always like a sexual component. So when you've taken that sexual component and allowed it to be there, it's like you can meet really great people, when you don't have the jealousy. I mean, I still don't know how my husband isn't jealous.
Okay.
I don't know how he isn't jealous.
Yeah.
I think it took me longer because I was always like, well, mine was more, it wasn't that I was jealous that he had like gone and looked at things and probably did things, seen things. I've never been angry about that.
Yeah.
I was just angry that like he didn't just come to me, like he didn't feel like he could tell me.
Yeah.
I feel like I've always been way more open than any of my friends are on subjects like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you have friends that are doing this too?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Do most of your friends know?
I have a couple that know.
Are they like curious about like getting into it themselves?
Well, I think one maybe.
Okay.
But I mean, they're just, not in a place where they feel like they could do that either. But I think most of my friends are just like, no, you shouldn't do that, whether they're religious or just whatever the other reasons may be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, this isn't for everybody. I mean, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I just think that, and who knows, it may not work for us forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's people that talk about it that, it's like maybe once every couple of months or, I mean, if they do it once a week, great for them. But when we were deciding or talking about what we were going to do, it was originally just him watching me. And then it kind of evolved into I started like looking into, more, I mean, I'm not really like into BDSM or anything like that, but there's like certain things that I was like curious about, like being blindfolded and tied up. I'm like, that sounds really hot. My partner's not into that. There's other things he's not into anal sex, not into any kind of like BDSM. Not that I'm like really like, there's people that are way more into it than me.
Yeah.
Do a little spank, that kind of thing. That's fine, but I'm not like crazy into it.
Yeah.
I mean, on FetLife, just the things that I see, I mean, there's like hooks. It's a hook. It looks like a fish hook.
Where does it
people
go?
put those in their skin.
No. This goes in the ass. It's a hook in the ass,
What?
girls. Oh yeah, and they're hung from
their asshole. They're hung from
yes,
their asshole.
yes. That's why I'm saying
That sounds like a recipe for internal bleeding.
Right? I don't know what's on the end of that hook, but there's also these like metal tubes that dudes like stick in their penis holes.
Oh yeah, isn't it tuning? Isn't that what that's called?
I have no idea, but it's awful. Like I'm just like I can't. No. I remember this one guy was like totally into that I'd been talking to. I've since stopped talking to him. I go, is there such a thing as like a baby hook? Like I don't think I can do that. Like I don't know.
Hook.
Yeah. Like, no.
Dude, the thought of hanging from my asshole.
I know. It's so
terrifying.
I'm like, hard no. Can't do that. So I think like at that point, we had a conversation of, I was like, well, would it be all right that I meet these guys separately? Because I wanted to like meet them for coffee and like get a feel, you know, were they creepy, were they not? And because I was like, I'm not going to the glory hole. I'm not meeting guys at the glory hole.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. So I'm like, if they can do a vanilla date, then okay, we'll see if we want to take it from there. So he said, you know, oh, that's fine. I said, because you don't want to be, because he was not interested in knowing anything about these guys, didn't care about their life story, didn't care about, you know, anything that I wanted to know to have a connection to them.
Yeah, he just wanted to watch.
He just wanted to watch. Yeah. But his whole thing too is that he has to have a connection to someone to have sex with them. So if we decide to go into the couples thing, if we actually find a couple, he's going to have to get to know them too.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm going to have to do all the legwork in the beginning, and then he can kind of join in at the end and like, you know, because I feel like I'm a pretty good judge of like what he would like as far as either physically or, you know, just like emotionally.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
So every time that you like hook up with somebody else, is your husband always there watching, or do you ever, no? Okay.
So that was like an evolution.
That was an evolution.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, just I don't know, like I don't even know how it like happened. Because I would ask him, I'm like, well, you know, I'm gonna go and have coffee with so and so, and he's like, well, are you gonna go and do anything else? I go, well, can I? I'm like, if it goes well, can I?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, yeah, just video it so that I can watch it later. So that's how it kind of that evolved, is that I would just have them hold the camera and video it. And I mean, this is only a short window of time. The current person that I see, that's the only person I've been seeing for a month or two, maybe. We started talking like way back in the summertime when I first got on FetLife.
Yeah.
But didn't meet until in the fall.
Okay.
Like September. And so that's like the only person that I'm seeing right now, because he's really fun.
I love this.
He's just like, he's really, I don't know if I'm going to let him listen to this. I may not. Just because of all the other stuff that's involved. But he's very uncomplicated and just everything my husband isn't.
Yeah.
You know, my husband isn't super like, he's not super touchy-feely. He's not super complimentary. Not that he doesn't compliment me, but like, I mean, he's seen this face for like, if I dress up, he's like, oh, you look really pretty, you know? But, you know, this other person is, you know, hey, send me a picture. I want to see your face, whatever. He's like, oh, you're really pretty. Your eyes are so pretty. I mean, he just is always super complimentary.
Yeah.
But it not just on looks, like, you know, whether it's like talks about like things I'm talented with, like cooking or art or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like that. You know, he's also really smart. He's super funny. Like, he has a very dry sense of humor. So that's like a big thing for me. But he's up for anything. You know, there's just, I knew from the first time I kissed him, I was like, oh, damn. It was a kiss like, I don't know if I've ever kissed anybody and it was like that. Like, it was super perfect. Like, stars aligned kind of kiss.
Wow.
Yeah, really good kissing. My husband's a great kisser too.
Yeah.
But I've kissed him for so long, like I know what to expect, right?
Yeah.
This is somebody new. Yeah.
That is interesting, because like that, like when I think of like that first kiss moment, you know, it's very much like I can like picture that in my head, but obviously like I haven't had that now for
so long.
You know, yeah, it's been literally over.
I can't remember what it feels like.
So, yeah, it's been so.
I
long.
remember my first kiss with my partner. Because we had been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember I put on chapstick, and I think I was at his parents' house. He was house sitting or something, and I'd come up there, and I was like, hey, you want some chapstick? And he goes, yeah. And so I just totally planted a kiss on it.
I love
I'm
that.
smooth moved in. I mean, I'm always the initiator. I'm always the initiator. See, I don't have to do that with this other person.
Okay, so
I enjoy, yes, and I don't have to be a mom, and I don't have to like clean a house, and I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Like it's such a, like, it's like going out for a hike or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see him like every day or anything like that. I mean, I think in November I maybe saw him once, but it's super fun when I do.
Yeah. So when you started doing this, did you and your husband start having sex together more, or was it more just like the relationship changed emotionally once you started exploring this whole like different side of yourselves together?
I mean, see, that's where it's kind of tricky. Is there was a caveat, a twist that happened. My husband is of an age where his testosterone started to get really low.
Okay.
And at that same time, when his testosterone started to go low, his estrogen got really high. And so he got to where he couldn't perform anymore.
Okay.
And so that was more, I would say it was more emotional connection at that point.
Yeah.
And a lot more talking and just like, you know, hugging or kissing or, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, we've gone to see a sex therapist too, which I highly recommend to anybody that wants to do like an open relationship, because, you know, you have to kind of talk it through. I mean, I remember the therapist asked my partner, why would you want to see your wife having sex with other men? And, you know, he's like, I don't know. I've always liked it. It's like a vulnerability thing or whatever. So, I mean, I think, you know, our relationship has definitely evolved. So, I mean, it's something we're still working through, but, you know, he's told me, which is like freaking amazing of him, that he just wants me to get what I need. And so he's like, okay for me to go and be with this other person. And because I don't have like again, like I told you, like I really enjoy him as a person. I like being around him. You know, he's not looking for, you know, anybody to fall in love with him or him fall in love. I mean, maybe at some point in his life he wants that, but he's not looking for that right now. He says women scare him, and I'm like, absolutely uncomplicated. I'm not. There's no strings attached with that. So. You know, he can have companionship and sex with someone that he enjoys being around, and I can as well. But we don't have to worry about like the big emotional feels of it.
Yeah.
Or like a future or any of that stuff.
Yeah.
This is like so fascinating to me because I think about like okay, so you said this in the beginning, like you guys both have like divorced families and everything, and my husband and I do too. And we've talked a lot before we even got married about like if we ever divorce, what would this be like, or what, you know, I just feel like we had so many more divorce combos than we did like marriage combos because we both had so much baggage just from our parents divorcing. But like when I think about our life and the life we have and all these, like in terms of a life partner, like he to me is like my perfect life partner. Like everything that like we're doing together, I just feel like we have such a solid like foundation relationship, and it's great, and the sex part of it is great too. But like if I think about, okay, in the future, like if that started to fizzle or if that started to change or one of us needed something, like could I potentially open it to save all the other parts of the relationship if that needed something else? And like right now, like thinking about that, I'm like, ooh, like I think I'd be like so jealous, but like maybe in 10 years, you know, and my husband and I have even talked about this, like I don't know what our relationship is going to be like in 10 years, and like maybe at that point I would be like, you know what, like I would rather preserve all of this and open up this other part of it to keep everything else intact, you know? Like that makes so much sense to me.
Well, and it's like I had said, the people that I've talked to, men, you know, and I mean, I had even talked to women on there, not like in a looking for relationship kind of thing, but just to get their take on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, you know, what are you doing in this situation? Like, because I was just really looking for advice from other women that were in this, you know, situation, this lifestyle.
Yeah, and where else are you supposed to find that information?
Yeah, exactly. And so I would reach out to these women and talk to them, and I'm like, you know, help. you know, I need advice. So for me, I still have not seen my husband have sex with another woman, but it's weird the way that me mentally I've evolved. just like being angry with him for not being honest about what he was doing in the beginning. I just told him recently, I'm like, I just want you to know I've forgiven you. Like, I don't want to be angry. I don't want to have anything like between us that, would be eating away at me. And I know a lot of people say it's really hard. I've always just been the type of person that I firmly believe you can change your mind on anything as easily as just like shutting off a light or whatever. I mean, I think people would disagree with that, but for me personally, you can. And it is still like a little bit of a struggle. Like, if you've ever been like cheated on or something like that, you are constantly wondering, well, what are they doing right now? And that's just self-destructive. And so for me, if I ever have any weird thoughts in my mind about, is he already having sex with someone else? Or some sort of intimate relationship with someone else. It doesn't even have to be sex. I pretty much am like, nope, I can't think like that, because all that's going to do is eat me up. Mm-hmm. I think it always hurts the person that's feeling it more than the person that might be doing or maybe not even doing, Yeah. It's always more detrimental to you being jealous and you being angry than, the other person.
Yeah. I have so much respect for like just your mindset and like ability to like grow and change, because I feel like so many people are so stuck in their ways, and like to be able to like change your mind about things and do things as big as your marriage like totally differently after so many years of doing it one way, I feel like that's huge. You have to be
selfless. I mean, and you have to communicate. I mean, we still are working on that. That's why we've gone to the therapist, and I see a therapist on my own. I mean, for me to just like kind of work through things in my mind to make sure that when that time comes that we are in a good place for it. Ultimately, like, to imagine my husband not happy is worse than anything else to me. I mean, whether not being happy with me, not being happy in our relationship, just not being happy. Because I imagine, like, if I'm unhappy, I know it feels like crap, you don't want to be. I don't know how I do it, to be perfectly honest with you. I just know that and it has nothing to do with our kids, has nothing to do with staying together for them. And I mean, who knows? It may evolve to where, we don't stay together. I mean, I have no idea, but because you just really don't know. I know on one of your podcasts you talk about, one of you guys said you can't control what another person does. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think if he lied to me now about something he was doing, I think it'd be a lot worse. Like, I think I would have a really big problem with that. Yeah. Because if he doesn't feel like he can tell me stuff, but I do think like all the stuff that he was doing, whatever it was, like I said, I don't know, that is never something I want to know. He was concerned I wanted to know what it was, and he didn't want to tell me because he thought I would be mad, or he thought I'd be upset. And, I don't know if he felt guilty or what it was, but I was like, listen, I know what I bring to the table as far as sex goes, so it's not like I think somebody's better than me. I mean,
love the confidence.
There may be things that like I don't provide emotionally or something like that someone else would, but I mean, I'm really giving. I would do anything he wanted me to try. I mean,
look at what you've done.
Yeah,
so, like, I know. So inspiring.
I know. It definitely is having an open mind. I think I told you in my session that I just decided at one point that I haven't tried it. So how do I know if I'm going to like it or not? How can I say anything? How can I make judgments? I mean, I think so many people make this judgment call based on like what they see, basically looking at someone's whatever they're wearing and make this decision on what kind of person they are or whatever. I feel like you're really limiting your life's experiences. Who the hell knows if we're going to be here tomorrow? I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, I feel like life is so fleeting and you don't know what's going to happen. And so, like the damn glory holes or the blowholes, whatever I want to call them. I mean, it is kind of a blowhole. You are blowing them, right? I feel like I did that. I can say, I'm good. I don't need to do that anymore, But like Pravada, I think Pravada is like a really great place to kind of put your toe in, and it does cost more money, like I said, but like you can see this stuff and just, I mean, after that, I started looking up like positions, and I'm like, what is this? Like, I had no idea all this stuff. So, it's like for me, I'm just being curious, like a little kid, I think that's what's made it so much better. So I can't say that I would be upset if I saw my husband having sex with another woman. But I honestly think at this point I probably wouldn't, just because I would know that he was enjoying himself, but I'm always his first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's the part that you have to have. You have to have your main person. I mean, what do the polyamorous people call it? Like their nesting partner, which I still don't understand polyamory. If anybody can explain that to me, that'd be great. I don't know.
We are going to have someone on the show who is poly, so they can
excellent.
talk about it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. See, I'll be like listening in on that one for sure, because I just really I'm so curious, all these different things that people do, and all the different names of stuff. I'm like, wait, what is this? What is this? What is this? I don't know what these are. So, I mean, we're still learning. It's still a curious thing. I don't know, like I say, like how it's all going to evolve, but I mean, I feel like it's certainly been more fun. We've decided no matter what happens in our lives, we're definitely going to keep like the marriage at an open point. I mean, I've told him, I'm like, I don't think I ever want to stop having sex with other people.
Yeah.
Just because it's like different and fun, and you feel alive. Like it's all new again.
Yeah.
And you lose that in your relationship. I do think that that's something that's added back into our relationship, though, is that, you talk about it when you're starting to get intimate, or when you're going to, you're going to have sex. You start talking about what, the other person was doing, mm-hmm. or, what somebody was doing to me, I guess is in this case. But, so, I mean, it's, that kind of adds a little spark. I guess it's like role playing. I mean,
yeah.
So,
well, you definitely inspired. So during her session, when we were doing glam, one of our hairdressers, I don't think she'd care if I say her name, but whatever. She was doing the hair, and we were talking, we were just getting so inspired with everything she was telling us. And both of us were like, okay, like, we're going to go home today, and, like, we're going to, like, have sex. And she was talking about how she had this outfit that, like, she had in the closet for over a year that she still hadn't put on. And I had this, like, little schoolgirl skirt that, like, I think we bought this over a year and a half ago, I think. And every, like, month, Gavin will be like, what if we, like, bring the skirt out? And I'm like, oh yeah, like, tomorrow. I never do it. And I did. I went home that night and I put the skirt on, and I was like, I got inspired from you.
You know what? I mean,
you're changing lives.
I hope I am, because honestly, like I say, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, God forbid something should happen to this person that you absolutely adore.
Yeah.
You don't want your last, month or week or days with them where you weren't connected 100%. I mean, mm-hmm. I feel like you have to do everything you can to stay connected to this person if that's what you want. I don't think that people should open up their relationship, though, if they're already having difficulty. I think that was probably not something we should have done. Not that it turned out bad, but I just think that there was and we never really fought, but there was just too much stuff going on. And doing that doesn't usually fix a relationship. Mm-hmm. I will say that.
That makes sense.
I mean, that's like one thing that the counselor said, is that, you really shouldn't open up a relationship if you're having troubles. But I didn't think we were having troubles at all. I just thought we needed to spice up our sex life. So that's what we did. Mm-hmm. So if you have other issues, like, you argue or you don't communicate or whatever, I mean, you should not be opening up your life.
Because it's just going to add a layer of complication to those other issues.
And from everything you said, it seems like you need to be incredibly communicative with your partner to make this work and make it work well for both people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because he would say that oh, whatever you want. And then I would go and I don't even know what it was. I would do maybe it's when I decided that I needed to get to know the person and go have coffee with them. He's like, well, what are you doing that for? How is that helping us? He just wanted me to just go and just
hop on some dick.
Yeah. I'm like,
It sounds like you guys really trust each other, though. What you were saying about I just want him to be happy. Like if I see him having sex with someone else and I know he's enjoying it, like that's what matters more. I feel like that's next level trust in your partner, you know? And it seems like you have to have that to be able to do this.
Well, I also think that who am I to say that he can't when he's pretty much said to me, you know, if you need this, go do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, he'll even say, well, how was it, you know? And he'll ask me, like, what did you do? And I tell him everything. It's completely transparent, you know? And I've even told him, you know, it's a great place for me to go because this person is very tidy and, you know, just like, I don't have to worry about doing a dish. I don't have to, you know, make dinner for anyone. Like, it's great. It's great. It's great. I don't, and I think that that's actually something that I think is important too, is having communication with that other person as well. We talk via text a lot, and when we're together, it's maybe not talking as much as we should. I do feel like, you know, there's probably more communication that should happen there because I know, you know, he hasn't ever had this type of situation.
Okay.
And he was really nervous that like my partner was going to like hunt him down with a gun. He didn't believe me, you know. I'm like, dude, you know, I said it on my profile, like, but so I mean, I think there's like still a learning curve on that one too, but
you obviously don't have the same level of trust with him as you do with your husband.
You know what's funny is, I mean, there is a trust there where we've talked about like testing out the waters on any sort of like BDSM stuff, like really mild. Maybe spank me with something. I don't know. We haven't gotten that far.
Do you have like a safe word?
We haven't yet.
Okay.
We haven't got that yet because we only just talked about it today.
Oh.
I'm like, so what do you think of BDSM? Even though I knew he would probably be okay with it. He's pretty open to that kind of stuff.
Okay.
He says I'm really open too, which it's a perfect scenario. That's why I told my husband, I'm just like, please don't tell me that I can't have this anymore, okay? Don't ever say that I can't have this anymore because I will be really upset.
Yeah.
All right? It's going really well. And he thinks it's funny. Like, he's a pretty, I think he's more, I feel like he's more trusting than me. I mean, I just don't even understand how he can, I don't know. I don't think
trust you so much.
I just don't think I would want to know like what he was doing with other women.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, but it seems like for him it like gets him off since he was the one that wanted to watch you in the first place. Yeah. So it's like hearing about it is probably like
that's
almost like a type of porn.
Yeah.
He's like into it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He does tell me I should video, but I'm like, well, we pretty much don't even think about that. It's like, you know? I'm like, I ain't got time to get a camera. Get your clothes on. No, I'm just kidding. It's not always like that. We've gone and looked at like, you know, driven around town and, you know, just
like hung out.
Chit chat. Yeah, just kind of hung out.
Yeah.
Watch a show, something like that. But
yeah.
Again, that doesn't last long.
It's exciting though that it's cool that you have that like that experience of like discovering someone again. Where you're like they're just like, oh, your eyes. When it's like your husband sees your eyes every day. Yes. He doesn't like notice them anymore. You know, but this new guy, it's like he's like all these things are so exciting to him. Like I can understand how that is like part of it would be really fun because you just, you know, you get used to someone no matter how much you love them.
Yeah. And I mean, I've asked him, I'm like, why is it that I should be, and I think that was part of like the learning curve. I'm like, I don't feel like I should be liking to get this information from somebody else. You know, I'm like, I feel like this should push you to do this more. And he goes, well, that's just not really me. It's never really been me. I'm like, no, that's true. You know, I mean, and it never really bothered me. I was never really the type of person that constantly needed, you know, some kind of encouragement. But it's nice when you get it, though. Yeah. It's freaking great, you know? So, I don't know. But anyway.
I do need constant encouragement, personally.
I think it's great. I think it, I mean, I feel like I encourage my husband all the time, too. I mean, I think that something that the mistake I made in our relationship that this has kind of come up that we've discovered in this counseling stuff is that I gave too much. I don't know if it's codependent or what the word is. I'm not a therapist, but just like I would drop everything if my kids needed something, or if my husband needed something, or if my husband was upset about something. I was always trying to fix it. And like during COVID, I think my husband felt a little bit smothered because I was like, okay, what do you want for lunch? What do you want for, dinner? What do you want, And I was like constantly trying to, be this like perfect wife. And it got exhausting because I wasn't getting the recognition that I wanted or deserved, keeping my house really clean and, or decorating for, some party or a special holiday or whatever, or making this fancy elaborate dinner that I worked on for hours because I had the time, you're home from COVID. I got really pissed about it and resentful, and I didn't even realize I was. So I think this whole scenario, I just started realizing, I need to stop. But I think that was probably my journey of figuring myself out. I really feel like everybody should have one of those.
For sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Even if you think like you're good.
Yeah.
It's just doing this like revamp. And because I also did like the whole 30 eating program. I did that where you like cut all this stuff out. Like your brain gets really clear. And I mean, I just kind of did everything at once. I can't do like a small thing. I mean, I always have to like, go big.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not going to just like, start eating healthier. I'm going to change my whole life.
Yeah. I'm not going to just watch people have sex. I'm going to let strangers have sex with me. It's not I don't know. I'm
inspired.
I'm inspired
I
too.
love this energy.
Well, and even this like openness too, I think for like, even for me who like, I'm not going to go like open my marriage tomorrow, but like, I do want to be more open about like, just trying new things or trying to be like a little bit less vanilla than I am.
You have to show Gavin your butthole tonight.
Oh my God. No.
You know what you have to do is that kink, I'm trying to think what it's called. It's been a long time since we did it, but there's like a kink comparison.
Wait, the quiz.
Yeah, the kink quiz. Like you figure out how vanilla or how kinky you are.
I've taken this quiz.
Have you?
Okay.
What was your score?
Pretty vanilla. But it's not like, it basically lists all the things that you could be into, and then you're like on a percentage scale of each one, right?
Yeah.
I did this recently because I'm not going to name names, but somebody I know is recently back in the dating pool, and that person found like matched with somebody on an app who like has like a sex room. Like they have like a full
I would love a sex room.
Yeah, like a full like dungeon. I'll show you a photo after this.
That's so cool.
But that person took the quiz, and the person I know sent me like a photo of that person's results on the quiz, and I was like dying.
Extreme.
I sent it to Gavin, and both of us are just like, this is not us. Like this is very like this is amazing, but not for me. But then we were like, oh, we should take the quiz. But ours was not very spicy.
See, I feel like you should always like introduce something new, like once a month, even if you have to mark it on the calendar. I mean, I think I had told you guys that like there are couples that like they have to put it on their calendar because their lives are so busy, and it sounds like it would be so boring or whatever, but I mean, if you added something spicy in there, go to Bravado on your date night. I mean, I don't know, you honestly don't know until you try it.
We do that sometimes. We plan, like if Colin wants to have sex and I'm too tired, I'll be like, tomorrow night I'm free, like we'll do it tomorrow, and then like it's almost more exciting because then you're like thinking about it leading up to the day. And it's like you can kind of like think about what you want to do, and like
that's what I was telling them. It's like you should absolutely both say, okay, this is the day we're going to do it. And I mean, I had this book that it was like 100 Nights of Great Sex, and you don't know what's in it, and you tear it off and they get one and you get one, but it's the same theme. And so they have this like task that they need to do to get ready, and then you have this task that you need to do to get ready, and so it's this it's like role playing and all this different stuff. Some of it was like sounded like way too much work to me, but like how I was telling the hairdresser how she was saying being in her past how she was a little bit more wild and her husband isn't, and I'm like, he's in a job of authority. In my experience of meeting these different men, not having sex with them, just talking to them, the ones that are in these high profile jobs really like to be submissive. Not all men, of course. That's not the case for all of them.
Those are probably the guys that want to nurse.
Yes.
Could be. Yeah. I mean, who knows? I
The
think
big
that they
spenders.
I think what they want is they just want someone to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
they
they
don't
want
wanna have to
someone
think about it.
yeah, they want someone to like take control, lay down on the bed. And I mean, that's why I was telling her, I'm like,
You did, yeah.
you need to tell him, no, you lay down on the bed. No, I'm going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
take control. And who knows, he might laugh and giggle at first, but I mean, come on, he's got to get into it.
I know.
You know?
I know. I should ask her how it went, and
Yeah, I would love to know.
Yeah.
I'll ask her the next time I see her, and I'll text you.
Okay. Yeah, I could. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to know that I changed lives.
Yeah,
I know.
It's
I
so
would.
nice because it's like a crash course in like how to start getting more curious.
Yeah.
And, like trying new
Yeah,
things.
you really should. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Honestly, hopefully nobody gets hurt, but I mean, obviously trying things from a swing or something, you might get hurt. But I mean, for
As we
me,
know.
I just really, right. I just really think that just keeps things interesting. It's
Yeah.
like having the same job forever and you're doing the same thing every single day and you get bored of it. How do you make that exciting? Well, you change jobs, but if you don't want to change your spouse, you should probably, so I just think it's fun.
I love this. Okay, my commitment is that I'm gonna like get more into dirty talk because that's something my husband's into, and I'm like, I'm just a quiet person. I think I don't know. I'm just so like.
So like when you're shooting,
Yeah,
where
when
you
I'm
get really
shooting,
focused and you stop talking.
It really is. It's like I just like focus during sex. I'm like, oh, like focus on feeling good, but I'm gonna be more open with my dirty talk. That's my commitment.
I love that.
What
for
about you, Taylor?
Oh God, my commitment. Okay, I'm gonna try to focus more on wanting my husband to be happy and less on my own ego. Because I feel like that can apply in areas outside of just sex.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I feel
Yeah.
like I can be very insecure sometimes, and it's like not something I'm proud of. I don't feel like it helps anyone. And
Have you ever wondered why though? Like what started that, insecurity? I mean, do you know what started the insecurity? Like I know
where do I
what
start?
I know what started my insecurity, and it had to do with in my childhood having sexual abuse. So I know that like, not feeling worth and that kind of thing. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Which surprises me that I can do this now. But again, it's just
Yeah.
that thing where I just decided that I'm not going to let that control my life. I don't know.
And I feel like you've done a lot of healing. Like you've done a lot of work on yourself.
Yeah,
and therapy.
and
which
sometimes
is-
it takes a long time. You may not be able to do it until you're in your 50s.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like, are you insecure because you're afraid of something? It's like that's why that Fearless Living
Yeah.
book is so great. She should give me kickbacks for
should.
that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you should listen to it. It's life changing. Like really, I'm so much less insecure
Really?
than I ever was.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna listen
I
to
need-
it 'cause-
I need
yeah,
that book.
I'm always second guessing
Yeah.
myself. I'm always like, I have imposter syndrome every day of my life. So.
That's my commitment. I'm gonna read that book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me too. We can
Yeah.
book club Taylor.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's really. Hey, we should totally do that.
Yeah.
Talk about it again. Yeah, I think that would be really good to be less insecure, because I think being less insecure is like can evolve into so much more. Like in the studio, me walking around like half naked, I don't do that at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if my kids weren't there, like I'm not like I did not feel at all like I should be insecure about anything about my body, which is so fascinating to me. So I think that was fun for me. But
Yeah.
I don't know what my commitment is. I don't think I have a commitment.
Well, you're
You've
the one
done a
inspiring
lot.
us over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like our life goals right now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying my best, I guess.
No, you're doing amazing.
Yeah.
This is so
This is
inspiring.
I feel like this is gonna be really helpful for a lot of people to hear.
I hope
this.
so.
Yeah.
I hope so. My husband and I had this conversation about we were talking about like coaching and how, because on that Fearless Living, he's doing it.
Okay.
And so his thing is he's like, oh, I really like to coach, but maybe I don't have the empathy that I should. And they'd kind of talk some more about it. And she's like, you don't coach because you like to coach people. You coach because it makes you feel better about yourself. You feel less insignificant. And he's like, what? Like it's totally life changing for him just to hear that. So, I mean, I really think that like going into something with the right intentions, that's why I think that book really helps that. So, going into it like, addressing why you're insecure. I mean, because you're absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful body, but I mean, great personality too. I mean, I don't even know how I found you guys, but like, it's your personalities that I just was like, I'm so drawn to you.
Aww.
I love you guys. You're so awesome. So
we love you.
You changed my life, okay? It's just all about the love.
Just a love circle. I love this.
This is like the ideal like client situation, where like we're changing your life with your shoot, you change our lives with like your wisdom and your like openness to sharing your experience. Like this is just it was meant to be.
No, you
pay it forward. Pay it forward, ladies.
I literally was messaging them during Glam. I was just like, ladies, like my mind is blown out. These conversations we're having. I am like,
well, and I feel like the conversation went really smoothly too. I was curious like what I was gonna say or how but I mean, good leading in on the questions, but hopefully I didn't ramble too much.
No, I agree with Taylor. I think a lot of people are going to find this really interesting, and I think a lot of this is really applicable, even if you don't want to like fully open things up.
Right? Yeah. Even if you don't open things up, I mean, at least just be more curious. I mean, that's like the takeaway everybody should have.
Absolutely.
About yourself, about what you want, talking to your partner, like. My husband tried to open up to me and I shut him down. And like, why did I shut him down? I mean, because I was insecure. And so, why don't you like dirty talk? Do you feel silly when you're doing it? I mean,
I feel so silly.
And it's like
embarrassed. Why do I feel embarrassed?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why would you feel embarrassed? I mean, if you know that like you started saying shit to your husband and he like totally got turned on by it, I mean, it could make a lot better sex.
And he does. He gets totally turned on by it. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like I have no reason to be insecure or embarrassed or whatever. Like my husband like loves me. He loves having sex with me. He's so positive, so supportive of everything. And then I'm just like I'm so awkward. I'm so embarrassing. I'm like, why? Why am I?
Yeah. See, that's the thing too. Like you shouldn't like talk down to yourself. It's like what are you afraid of for that thing? I'm telling you,
I gotta read this book.
You do. It's great. It requires you to do like workbook kind of stuff. Like you have to like you listen to each day and you kind of do something each day. So it's not like something like I listened to the entire thing first and then I went back and did all the stuff just to kind of because I'm kind of that kind of person where I want to know what's going to happen in the book, and so I might read the back page and then go back through. So, I mean, I think like listening to it through just to kind of get an idea of what she wants and put yourself in the right headspace for it and just do it every day. I mean, if you make it a habit, what is that, 2 weeks? You can make something a habit, something like that?
Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, hey, for 2 weeks, talk dirty.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this, you guys.
You can totally do it. Once you start doing it, it's easy.
Yeah.
I literally read an article last night about how to dirty talk.
You did? See, that's good. At least you're like inquisitive about it. Like that's the first step, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
this was incredible.
It's been so fun. I've enjoyed it.
I feel like we definitely need to have like a part 2 at some point.
Yeah, we need to check in like a few months.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Especially like if I tell you we've had sex with another couple because I think that would be a huge thing.
Yeah, I will definitely.
I gotta find one. Anybody out there? It's normal. I prefer men that are like in their mid 30s to 40s. Just saying. So does my husband. Well, we are in our late 40s, early 50s, but we both look really good.
You do look great.
We can confirm.
Yeah.
She's hot.
Stunning. Yes.
No one believed me that I was in my 50s.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's great.
Okay, so Lauren just left.
That was so fun. I love her.
Incredible. That was amazing. Please let us know what you guys think about this podcast. I think this one was my favorite one that we've ever done.
Mm-hmm,
I learned so much.
Me too. I loved that. I feel like it was such a good eye-opener for us, and we needed that. We needed that wake-up call to stop being such vanilla bitches.
Like, I'm like actually embarrassed about how vanilla I am. Like, I want to be less vanilla.
Me too. So we're going to come back next year and we are going to tell you guys all about how we've spiced it up.
Yes. And also, like, if you guys are hella vanilla, please, like, slide into my DMs and make me feel less bad about myself because I would appreciate that.
Yeah, we need that. We need to feel less alone.
Okay, so housekeeping stuff. So this is our last pod of the year.
Wow.
This has been so fun.
It has been. It's been an amazing journey.
I love it. I love getting texts and DMs from people every week. Actually, I literally just got one today and somebody was like, this is like a staple part of my routine.
I love that.
Yeah. And I was like, wow.
That is so cool.
That makes me feel so happy.
I know. I love that there are people who regularly update me each week, like responding about their thoughts of like whatever we talked about that week. It's just like so cool that people are like sticking with it and listening to us and like engaging, and that we have like, I don't know, but like it feels like we're building an audience, and it's really cool.
I know. This has been so fun. So yeah, we're going to take off 2 weeks for the end of the year. And I think our first one back is going to be, is it the first or second week of January that we're coming back? I need to look at my calendar.
Yeah, let's look.
Taylor and I, our brains aren't functioning anymore.
It's been a long month.
We've really been popping our pussies this month.
Yes. Okay, so this episode comes out on January 20th.
And December 20th.
December 20th. And then we're taking the next 2 weeks off, so we'll be back on January 10th.
That's right. Okay, so January 10th, get ready. We're going to start the year with a bang. We have some fun stuff planned for next year.
We do. We're going to be spicing it up even more.
Yes. Okay. And then also, like, rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. It does help us. And, like, obviously, we, like, love doing this. Eventually, one day, we want to, like, have some ads or something. So, like, that would help us get there.
Yes. The more you share, the better. Sometimes I'll have people who I'm not like super close with, but who I know, who are like acquaintances or friends of friends, tell me they listen to it, and they're like, I feel like I'm so weird for listening to it because I feel like we share such personal stuff, and they like don't feel like they know me personally at that level, but now they're listening and they're like, oh, now I really know you. I know all your deepest, darkest fears. And it's not weird. Like, I don't find it weird at all. I think that we're very used to putting ourselves out there online at this point, and it's like it's not weird. So if you're like you're listening and you're shy and you don't want to say something, or you want to share it with someone but you're feeling shy about it, like, it is not weird to us. We fucking love it. It's like every single listener matters and makes us feel like we're doing this for a reason, you know?
Yeah, no, it makes me so happy when people reach out, and especially the people, I think it's like, okay, like obviously I love it when the people I talk to a lot talk to me about it. It like makes me feel good because like obviously they're like my closest people. But when somebody reaches out that I haven't talked to in years and they're like, I listen and they tell me something, I'm like, wow, like you like actually like took the time out of your day to like tell me that, where it's like, you know, it's like we really haven't talked in years. Like you have no reason to like do this besides the fact that you're just being really nice right now, and that like means a lot.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Yay. Okay. You're all amazing. All right, where can they find us?
They can find us on nakedpeachboudoir.com, at Naked Peach Boudoir on all the social platforms. You can find me at T Smells with a Z.
You can find me at Anna McLaughlin Photo. You can find Sierra, who is currently unwell.
Sierra PDX, CIARRA PDX.
Wow, that was really similar to how she
Did
does
I do a
it.
good job?
Yeah,
I mean,
really
people say we sound the same.
They
Should
do.
I have just pretended to be her?
Okay, side note, today I got a text that was, the person listening said that they could not at all distinguish you and Amanda.
Me and Amanda?
Last week, yeah. They're like, last week's episode, they could not. They're like, it is the same person talking, and it was not two different people.
What? I just have a generic voice. It could be anyone.
Or I think it's like my voice is so, I talk so fast, I think, that everyone's like, okay, it's like that bitch is talking now. But like,
Sierra talks fast too, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently you and Amanda sound the same.
Wow.
So.
Well, I'm offended.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Amanda and I are like two halves of one whole. We're
You
like
are.
the same
You're
person.
kindred spirits. Yeah. I love it. Okay. And we'll see you in 3 Tuesdays? 2 Tuesdays. 3.
3 Tuesdays. I haven't quit vaping yet, just so everyone knows.
Oh,
but
yeah.
by the next time we record, I will be quit. Okay.
Give us your latest vape update.
Oh, God. Really okay. So I just was going through this cycle of like trying to quit and it not working and like getting through like a day or like half a day and then starting again. And I was just beating myself up and feeling like shit about it. And I talked to my dad actually, who has successfully quit smoking years ago. And he's been telling me this whole time, like, you need to call 1-800-QUIT now. And it's like this Oregon, it's like funded by our tax money in Oregon. Every state has this quit line, I think. And you call and you get like a quitting coach who like checks in with you and makes a plan with you and like recommends kind of like how you should approach it based on like your situation. And then they also send you free gum patches or lozenges, depending on what you want.
Wow.
So I'm doing patches and they're getting sent to me. And my new quit date is December 21st. And so like they recommend having a quit date and kind of working up to it. And one of the things they told me to do is do like these mini quits where you like, you're like, okay, I'm not gonna vape during this window of time. It's hard with vaping because you can literally do it all fucking day. Like it's not like smoking where you're like, I do it after I eat and I do it after I have sex. It's not like the same. It's like a continuous all day thing. So you kind of have to carve out windows where you're like, I'm not going to vape for this 2-hour period or whatever. So I've been trying to do that to
How's that been going?
It's going okay. A lot of the time I just have been forgetting because I've been busy, but when I have done it, it's gone well because it's like I know there's an end to it, but it kind of like I feel like it builds your quitting muscle where you're like, okay, I've gotten through it 2 hours before. I know I can do it again, and you have to like really just take it like kind of like a minute at a time. Yeah. So that's the update. I'm trying again, and you know, I'm gonna keep trying until I quit.
Yeah, and you're gonna do it.
Yes, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be nicotine free by the next time we record. That's the goal.
That's perfect.
Thanks.
Yay. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.